gone from a bystander to a leader in the fight against climate change. We're helping developing countries to feed themselves and continuing the fight against HIV/AIDS. And we are launching a new initiative that will give us the capacity to respond faster and more effectively to bioterrorism or an infectious disease. A plan that will counter threats at home and strengthen public health abroad. As we have for over 60 years, America takes these actions because our destiny is connected to those beyond our shores. But we also do it because it is right. That's why, as we meet here tonight, over 10,000 Americans are working with many nations to help the people of Haiti recover and rebuild. That's why we stand with the girl who yearns to go to school in Afghanistan. Why we support the human rights of the women marching through the streets of Iran. Why we advocate for the young man denied a job by corruption in Guinea. For America must always stand on the side of freedom and human dignity. Always. Abroad, America's greatest source of strength has always been our ideas. The same is true at home. We find unity in our incredible diversity, drawing on the promise enshrined in our Constitution. The notion that we're all created equal, that no matter who you are or what you look like, if you abide by the law, you should be protected by it. If you adhere to our common values, you should be treated no different than anyone else. We must continually renew this promise. My administration has a civil rights division that is once again prosecuting civil rights violations and employment discrimination. We finally strengthened our laws to protect against crimes driven by hate. This year, I will work with Congress and our military to finally repeal the law that denies gay Americans the right to serve the country they love because of who they are. It's the right thing to do. We're going to crack down on violations of equal pay laws so that women get equal pay for an equal day's work. And we should continue the work of fixing our broken immigration system to secure our borders and enforce our laws and ensure that everyone who plays by the rules can contribute to our economy and enrich our nation. In the end, it's our ideals, our values that built America. Values that allowed us to forge a nation made up of immigrants from every corner of the globe. Values that drive our citizens still. Every day, Americans meet their responsibilities to their families and their employers. Time and again, they lend a hand to their neighbors and give back to their country. They take pride in their labor and are generous in spirit. These aren't Republican values or Democratic values that they're living by, business values or labor values. They're American values. Unfortunately, too many of our citizens have lost faith that our biggest institutions, our corporations, our media, and yes, our government, still reflect these same values. Each of these institutions are full of honorable men and women doing important work that helps our country prosper. But each time a CEO rewards himself for failure, or a banker puts the rest of us at risk for his own selfish gain, people's doubts grow. Each time lobbyists game the system or politicians tear each other down instead of lifting this country up, we lose faith. The more that TV pundits reduce serious debates to silly arguments, big issues into sound bites, our citizens turn away.
Citizens of every country suffer when there's corruption, when they can no longer trust the government or anything.
I campaign
when corporations become so rich and never give back to all. When
right now I know there are many Americans who aren't sure that they
make fun of the serious and all,
or that I can deliver.
When things are slanted,
I never suggested that change would be easy.
When good news is
slandered, or that I can do it alone.
Time to make a change and transform. All these things
and messy and complicated
make things better.
When you try to do big things,
even the complicated
stirs passions and controversy.
Make things better. Even when they're complicated.
Those of us in public office
can
respond
do
to this reality by playing it safe and avoid telling hard truths and pointing fingers.
We don't need to point fingers no more.
It's necessary to keep our poll numbers high.
Don't have to point fingers no more.
Instead of doing what's best for the next generation.
What's best to do is to do what's best for the next generation and the highest of this one.
100 years ago, or 200 years ago, we wouldn't be here.
Never forget
the only
your
reason
ancestors and what they strove for.
We're unafraid to do what was hard.
What they fought for.
To do what was needed, even when success
was needed.
To do what it took
even when success was hard.
Alive for their children and their grandchildren.
We must still do the same today.
Our administration has had some political setbacks this year. And some of them were deserved. But I wake up every day knowing that they are nothing